Morning friends, Big JC here for Team Jesus Outdoors. As some of you have probably noticed, for the last couple seasons I have been running a Lowrance Elite 7 HDI alongside of a Humminbird Helix 7. My Helix 7 is what I've been using for my down imaging and my side imaging. I gotta tell you, I'm terribly disappointed with the Helix 7. Now, I am a pretty big fan of Humminbird. I've been running Humminbirds for years. The Helix 7 just happens to be an entry-level Humminbird. So I decided this year to upgrade my electronics. I couldn't beat the deal I got on a Lowrance Elite Ti. Alright, couple hours into the job, I've got the new RAM mount installed. I've got the old RAM mount repositioned. Well within reach of the driver. Nice and solidly mounted. Here in the back of the boat I got pretty lucky. My transducer shield and saver spring back bracket that I had my Humminbird transducer mounted on provided just enough leeway that I could successfully mount this new total scan transducer, even though it's substantially larger. After initially installing the transducer level with the bottom of the boat, I took the boat to the water and tested the boat for level at trolling speeds to see how out of level the bow of the boat is at trolling speed. And I came back home and used the same level measurement using the jack to simulate the height of the bow and adjusted the transducer accordingly. With these two washers underneath the level at trolling speed, it brings the boat to level. So once I get back to the garage, I can put these two washers back underneath the level and use the trailer jack to simulate the boat in the position that it is at trolling speed, and then I'll double check the transducer at that point for level. With the transducer leveled as close to perfect as I could get it, I was now ready to begin testing my unit, becoming familiar with the different pages and the different settings, and start fine-tuning my unit and learning how to use it. So for the true test of the Lowrance Elite Ti, I wanted to compare the side imaging of the Humminbird Helix with Mega Imaging to the Lowrance Elite. The only way I could think of to do that was to capture footage of the Mega Imaging of a Humminbird Helix unit and compare it to this structure scan, which is Lowrance's side imaging on the Elite Ti. I figured this would give me a good comparison and be the truest test of how good the structure scan is in a Lowrance product. In order to perform this test, my buddy and I took his new bass cat out to a lake that we're both familiar with, to a piece of structure on the lake that we're both very familiar with, and we recorded footage from his Helix 12 Mega Imaging unit, and then I went back out afterwards in my boat and captured footage from my Lowrance Elite Ti. This was as fair of a test of the structure scan as I knew how to perform. One thing I was super pumped to find out about my new unit, I've always heard that SI does not work at high speed. And while my boat only does low 30s, I found that I do get a good SI reading on plane. Here's an example of a hard bottom point that I ran across while on plane and got a good reading. My favorite feature of the Elite Ti is the user interface. The touchscreen makes the user interface, which is already very intuitive, very easy to operate and navigate through the menu systems. So hey friends, after several hours on the water, strictly graphing with the new Lowrance Elite Ti9, and several hours of research and comparison, I am very comfortable at this point drawing a conclusion to this topic. I think the most important thing to keep in mind when you're talking about structure scan or side imaging, in order to get the clearest picture that you can possibly get, you really want to purchase the most screen you can possibly purchase. In other words, you want to purchase the biggest screen that you can afford. As you get into larger screen sizes, you get into larger screen real estate, which equals more pixels, which equals a clearer, better picture. So, for what my opinion's worth, my advice is buy the biggest screen you can afford. As far as the discussion of Lowrance Elite Ti versus Humminbird Helix, I'm going to say that in my opinion there's not a clear winner. If we take apart the conversation into 4 components: structure scan, which is also SI and DI in the Humminbird. The second component being 2D sonar, third component being mapping, and the fourth component being the user interface or the software system or menu, whatever you want to call it. It's my opinion that Mega Imaging just gives you a clearer, better picture. A lot more definition. You're shooting a stronger signal, and therefore you're getting more definition. That's all there is to it. Now the Elite Ti gives a very clear, very usable image. I'm not disappointed with this unit at all. I just think I have to say, in all fairness, Mega Imaging is just a better, clearer image. When it comes to sonar, both the Lowrance product and the Humminbird Helix are running chirp technology. I don't see a noticeable difference in the 2D images of the 2 different products. I really do not. I think there's a noticeable difference from Generation 1 Humminbirds to Generation 2, but from Gen 2 Humminbird to Lowrance Elite, I just don't see a difference in the 2D product. As far as mapping goes, I think when you talk about the conversation of mapping, you have to take into consideration what cartography is available for each unit. I think the LakeMaster cartography is probably a little bit better product than the Navionics product. So Humminbird may have the edge when it comes to cartography and mapping. But if you're talking about purchasing a unit on a budget, the built-in mapping in this Lowrance Elite Ti is pretty doggone impressive. I have, in my old Lowrance Elite HDI unit, I have a Navionics map from 2014 or 2015. And the product that comes, the base map that's preloaded in this Elite Ti is better than the cartography on the Navionics card in the other unit. So when it comes to, when you're talking about buying a unit on a budget, I think you might get more for your money with the Lowrance product because of the built-in base mapping. The fourth and final part of the conversation is the user interface, or the software, or the menu system, whatever you want to call it. Ease of operation. The Lowrance product, in my opinion, is by far more user-friendly. I ran a Humminbird Helix for 2 years. I've been running this Lowrance product for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I can navigate through the Lowrance menu system faster than I could navigate the Humminbird Helix 7 after 2 years. So user interface, I'm going to say Lowrance is the clear winner when you're comparing Elite Ti versus Helix. So my conclusion is Lowrance Elite Ti versus Humminbird Helix. I'm going to say it's a coin toss. It's going to boil down to preference. For my money, I'm happy that I switched to the Lowrance product. Being able to navigate the menu system so much quicker equals efficiency on the water. And that means I'm finding fish quicker. To me, that's money. The structure scan does a fine job. It may be a step below. The structure scan may be a step below Mega Imaging, but it's still a great product for the money, and I'm still very happy with the product. I'm going to say they're pretty close to equal products, and it's going to boil down to user preference. All that being said, I will say, if I were to order a new boat next year, which I'm not likely to do so, but if I were to order a new boat next year, I would very likely be considering the Solix product. Using this unit has me completely sold on the touchscreen. I think it creates a lot of efficiency having a touchscreen. I think it's much more user friendly. But like I said, the Mega Imaging is just amazing. So yeah, I think if I were buying a boat next year, I would be seriously considering the Solix product. I know it's a lot more expensive of a product than this is. And the other thing I'd be considering is I would certainly be looking at probably 12-inch units. Hey, my last thought on the topic of electronics is this. Whatever product you're running, whatever product you're using, your product's only going to be as good. Your product's only going to be as good as you are capable of manipulating the product. If you do not make yourself familiar with the software platform, the user interface, the menu systems, if you don't make yourself familiar with navigating through those menu systems, you are going to be inefficient on the water, and you're not going to get the most out of your product. My recommendation is spend some time on the water. If you don't have enough discipline to force yourself not to fish, then don't even take rods with you. But spend some time on the water doing nothing but graphing, doing nothing but playing with the settings of your unit, and getting to know your unit. Spend some time doing that. I've spent at least 4 hours now at this point just driving around graphing with this unit. I've become pretty efficient at maneuvering through the menu systems. That efficiency is going to buy me time on the water for years to come, as long as I'm running this product. So do yourself a favor, be as familiar with your product as you possibly can be. I'll tell you one thing that was a giant help to me. I got my hands on a DVD produced by Lance Valentine. It's available at Lance's website at walleye101.com. I got my hands on a DVD that walks the user through the software interface on a Lowrance touchscreen product. I watched that DVD twice before I ever took this thing on the water. And the hour I spent watching that, I even took some notes. The hour I spent watching that DVD a couple times probably saved me 3 hours on the water. I highly recommend, if you're using Lowrance products, go to Lance's website, walleye101.com, if you're not already familiar with it. Take a look at his DVD series. It is well worth your investment of time and money to make yourself more familiar with your product, make yourself more efficient on the water. Hey guys, I hope this has been useful to you. I've really put a lot of time and effort into this. I've learned a lot in the process. I've become very familiar with this Lowrance unit. But I hope you guys have found it useful information. I hope you find it helpful. Thanks for watching Team Jesus Outdoors. Hey, if you got any questions that I didn't cover here, or something that I may not have covered well, don't hesitate to either leave a comment in the comment box below or contact me personally. You can find me on Facebook at the Team Jesus Outdoors Facebook page. You can reach me by contacting me through teamjesusoutdoors.com. You can leave a comment in the comment box, leave me your email address, I'll get a hold of you. Don't hesitate to get a hold of me if you have any questions about this topic or anything else I've covered in the past. Hey, thanks a bunch for watching. Hope to see you guys on the water. God bless, tight lines. Have a good